Good morning, everyone. Mauricio Pochettino selects the 23-player U.S. men's national team roster for the 2025 CONCACAF Nations League finals. We're going to play Panama next week. We're going to play Panama on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And if we defeat Panama, which we should, we'll see. We'll look at the roster in a second. There's a few sketchy names there, and it's not me. I didn't make the roster, even though when you look at the names that were there, tactical manager definitely had a spot on this one. And then Pochettino select the roster, and then if you make it to the final, we will play what's the name? We're gonna play Canada or Mexico. Canada or Mexico. Two countries that were getting along very well lately. It's gonna be fun. US faces Panama in the semifinal on March 10th at SoFi, Los Angeles. I don't know why I thought this game was in Texas. So I guess it's in LA. We're gonna be playing in California. But let's look at the roster. Why don't we look at the roster? Look at Pochettino right there. Look at that. Just looks like a true soccer dad right there. He's got the beer belly and everything. But he's got hair. Very good hair right there, Pochettino. Much better hair than the previous coach. That's for sure. Okay, detailed roster position by position. Let's start with this breakdown. Let's go through the names. Let's see who's missing. Let's see if there's any nonsense. And the reason I'm covering the forwards right now, because, boy, I already saw it, obviously, the roster, before we went live. There are some weird call-ups here, man, especially in the forward position. We're going to get there in a second. And if you just made it, drop a like in the stream if you haven't already. So goalkeepers, Patrick Schulte, Zach Steffen, and Matt Turner. More or less as expected. If you watch my roster prediction video, I said Schulte and Turner, and then I was between what's his name? I was between Steffen and maybe him bringing Diego Cochin as a prospect. But no, he went with Steffen. I even said in the video that if he didn't go with Cochin as a prospect, third goalkeeper, he would bring Zach Steffen. So expected. Schulte from the Columbus Crew, Zach Steffen from the Colorado Rapids, and Matt Turner from Crystal Palace. Matt Turner will probably be the starter, I'm assuming. But we'll see how it goes. Also, Steffen and Schulte started one of each games in the January camp. Defenders. Let's go to the defenders. And this is probably where I got something wrong here. I thought he was going to bring 5 center backs and just 2 fullbacks. But as you can see, there are 4 center backs and there are 3 fullbacks. So let's start. Cameron Carter-Vickers, right, from Celtic. Marlon Fossey from Standard Liège. That he's a fullback, right? He's more of an attacking right back, like a right wing back, but he can play right back. Mark McKenzie from Toulouse in France. Tim Ream from Charlotte FC in MLS. Chris Richards from Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Anthony Robinson from Fulham. Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach. And Austin Trusty from Celtic. So actually, he did bring 5 center backs, right? Cameron Carter-Vickers, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, and Austin Trusty. He has 5 center backs, as I expected. And then he has 3 fullbacks, Marlon Fossey, Joe Scally, and Anthony Robinson. And just a reminder, Weston McKennie can play right back. Tim Weah can play right back, left back. So he has other options in this roster that can play the fullback position if needed, right? Now let's scroll down here. Let's scroll down. Okay, midfielders. We got to the midfielders. Tyler Adams from Bournemouth. Welcome back, Tyler. Good to have you back. Probably our captain. Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis, also in good form for Real Betis. I think I said this on the USMNT Abroad episode. We're very well served when it comes to the 6th position, the central defensive midfielder. Tyler Adams, Johnny, can even play with both. If you want to go full soccer terrorist mode, you play with both. You put both of them in the midfield. Pure soccer terrorism, go Portuguese-style manager, right? Just pretty much defensive and just make my eyes bleed while I'm watching. But, I mean, it could work. It can pull results. These are 2 tremendous players. And then he brought in Diego Luna from Real Salt Lake. I think if Tillman was available, Luna would not be there. That's the first thing I would say. If Tillman was available. Malik Tillman is injured. What's interesting here is the following. No Brendan Aronson, no Paxton Aronson. These would be 2 players. Like Brendan Aronson has played the 10 for Leeds, which would be the same position as Diego Luna. Paxton Aronson has been much better for Utrecht when he plays in the midfield, whether it is a 10, whether it is an 8. So Luna was selected over Brendan Aronson and Paxton Aronson. And at the time that we are doing this stream, there's no evidence or anything that Paxton or I mean Brendan, any of the Aronson brothers, that they're injured. So it looks like he just chose Big Balls Luna over them. Do I have an issue with this? No, not really. Not really. I don't think Luna being in the roster is a problem. I just find it interesting that he chose Luna over any of the Aronson brothers. So Luna makes the roster. Congratulations to Diego Luna, by the way. Weston McKennie from Juventus should be there. Can play the 8, can play the 10, can play as a fullback, one of our best players. Gio Reyna makes it. So I thought Gio Reyna would make the roster. I said that in the roster prediction video, and it makes sense to me for him to be there. He should absolutely be in the roster. But I was uncertain that if Pochettino would actually call him up because of his situation with Dortmund. But Gio Reyna is healthy. He should be there. I don't think Gio Reyna will start. If you guys want to, I'll do the projected starting 11 on the preview when I do the video, US and Panama. That way we can actually show the visual. But I don't think Gio Reyna will start. And then last but not least, we have Tenor Testament from Lyon. It's interesting because when you look at this midfield, Tyler Adams, Johnny, and Tenor mainly play as more of defensive midfielders. And Luna, Gio, and McKennie play more as attacking midfielders, right? So when I look at this, of course, McKennie can play in the double pivot, of course, and he can play it very well. But what this tells me is that we're probably going to see the 4-2-3-1. I would not be surprised if we saw a Tyler Adams, Johnny, or Tyler Adams, Tenor Testament double pivot. And then McKennie at the 10 or Gio Reyna at the 10. I think Luna's probably the deepest one there. I would be surprised if Luna got minutes with Gio and McKennie healthy. But that's what I'll say. I think it's probably going to be Tyler Adams, Johnny, and Testament fighting for 2 spots in the double pivot. I'm assuming Tyler is probably the lock to start with Pochettino. And probably should be right now. Tyler Adams, one of the main guys there in the midfield. And then probably Tyler and Johnny. And then the 10, I'm assuming he's going to go with McKennie or Reyna. Yes, at least for the first game. Sorry, I'm having my coffee. Don't worry, guys, girls, whoever's watching this. I went to the restroom beforehand because you guys know what happens when you drink coffee. I mean, I'm assuming. Jeff Carey, Spicy Jeff saying, I have good news. Okay, your dick issue seems to be straightening and your sperm count is up. Good for you. Good for you, Jeff. Enjoy. That's definitely an information that we wanted to know during the U.S. men's national team roster stream. Thank you very much, Spicy Jeff. Now the forwards, and this is where it gets very weird, and this is where I think Pochettino might have let us down. So he brings in Patrick Aguiman from Charlotte FC in MLS, Yunus Musa from Milan, Christian Pulisic from Milan, Josh Sargent from Norwich, Tim Weah from Juventus, and Brian White from the Vancouver Whitecaps. My brother in Christ, Brian White made the roster. That's what I said. Like, this is very, 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 very odd. I don't see why you would bring him. Congrats to him. Did well in MLS with 15 goals in MLS last season. Doesn't mean much in my opinion. I mean, didn't Jesus Ferreira get more? Isn't Jesus Ferreira maybe a better option than Brian White? And I'm far from a Jesus Ferreira apologist or even fan. Brendan Vasquez doesn't make it. But let's try to read into this a little bit here. We only have 2 true wingers, Christian Pulisic and Weah. We only have 2 wingers. And then you're going to say Yunus Musa is seen as a winger. Sure, but that's not his main position. We've seen that with Milan where Musa is very ineffective as a winger. He can play as a winger. He's a good player. He can play there if you put him there. But he's very ineffective. Mostly in the final third, he's close to useless, if we're being completely honest. There's a lot of good things with Yunus Musa. A lot of things he excels. Dribbling into space. Sometimes he's really good on defense. Very inconsistent, though. But Brian White, the USMNT Camp Cupcake legend, he has made it to the roster. I don't know why. And I also have issues with Patrick Aguiman being here. But then between Patrick Aguiman and Brendan Vasquez, it could be one of those cases where I'm just debating 6 and half a dozen. They're the same number. It doesn't really matter. But we don't have another winger. And it's interesting to me because Haji Wright was left out of the roster because he wasn't in the preliminary roster. But he's back from injury. he would probably be a better option to have on the wing. And he can also play forward if you need, but probably a better option to have than Brian Wright or Patrick Aguiman. The other one I was going to say is Zendejas. I'm not a big Zendejas fan. I am not a big Zendejas fan. But you don't have wingers here. Unless he sees Patrick Aguiman as a winger. And Zendejas has been good in Mexico for whatever that's worth in Liga MX. I mean, I think Liga MX is a bit better than MLS. So if you're doing well there, you should be fine MLS. I don't understand this call-up. I think it's a waste. I don't know why you do that. Let's put it this way. Would you rather have Brian White, and you guys can respond that to me. Would you rather have Brian White or a random dual national that we're recruiting? A random one. It could be Henry Chase, whatever, even if he's not a forward, a defender. Nathaniel Brown. Actually, Nathaniel Brown could play as a winger. Nathaniel Brown could play as a winger. So why? Sure, maybe he rejected it, but maybe bring Nathaniel Brown. Because if it reaches a point where we have to play Brian White, excuse my French right now, we're fucked. We shouldn't have to play him in these games, right? And then Frank has to say, no, Zendejas is surprising. Brian White, yeah, I thought Zendejas would make it, especially with the lack of wingers, right? Cubo Maker say, may I post a Discord link? Yes, you may. Everyone, I don't go there very much, but Cubo Maker has a Discord that we made it for you guys to engage with each other, our community. I don't use Discord very much, but he will probably post it in the chat. I'm assuming he already did. I don't know, but you guys can join that Discord if you want to. Just a USMNT one. Yeah, I don't understand Brian White if you have other options like maybe a Brendan Vasquez, even Jesus Ferreira, to be honest. But again, this is what Pochettino's going with. This is what he's going with. Aguiman's a center forward. Sargent's a center forward. Brian White. So he brought essentially 3 center forwards and 3 wingers. Out of the 3 wingers, only 2 are actual wingers, Pulisic and Weah. Musa can play there and he'll be fine. I just don't get it, man. I think that bringing Brian White, I'm sorry if I'm picking on the guy. I really apologize because I don't, if he wasn't in the national team, I wouldn't be picking on him. But we didn't need him in there. And it would be better to even bring a Noah Kai Banks and start integrating him early, just being in practice, not even playing. When you look at a player and you think of a player like Brendan White that's not really going to contribute in the future for the U.S. men's national team, I don't get it. Bring a young guy, integrate him, a dual national. Besides that, I'm going to be honest. I like the roster. I like the roster. And I also get it, right? If Aguiman if Balogun and Pepe were not injured, they would probably be replacing Aguiman and Brian White. But here's the thing. Coming into the World Cup, we can't assume every single player is going to be healthy. We can't assume that. It can happen. We're going to have injuries, right? We're going to have injuries. Let's see what else U.S. Soccer had to say. The CONCACAF Nations League has provided a platform for many USMNT players to showcase their talents and build experience. By the way, we have won every single Nations League so far, right? I believe there were 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of them. And we've won all 3 of them. And hopefully we keep it that way, okay? We're going to play it this way. But they also said, on this roster alone, 16 players had participated at least one CONCACAF Nations League Finals tournament, with 6 players having taken the art of all 3 previous editions: McKennie, Musa, Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Anthony Robinson, and Tim Weah. The 2025 version includes 6 players from the CONCACAF Nations League Finals, best 11. Gio Reyna was the best player. Yeah, I mean, essentially he saved Berhalter's ass. If you guys remember last year in the semifinals, we were pretty much we were losing to Jamaica until we got a late goal, obviously, that pretty much rescued us. And then in overtime or extra time, Gio Reyna stepped up with Haji Wright and essentially got us through. Berhalter probably would have been fired there. It might have saved Copa America, though. So if you guys want to blame someone for Copa America, you can blame Gio Reyna. He definitely has some blame for us falling in the Copa America. He kept Berhalter in his job, right? Not the Reynas. They tried to get Berhalter fired in 2022. They tried to do it first, but Gio Reyna kept that guy with his job right there. Matt Turner was the best goalkeeper, rightfully so. And then you had also Tyler, McKennie, Christian Pulisic, and Anthony Robinson in the best 11. Tyler scored that banger against Mexico, if you guys don't remember. Let's see here. Spring forward. A total of 6 MLS-based players were part of the 2025 January camp. 3 for the March, blah, blah, blah. 3 players, Patrick Aguiman, Diego Luna, and Brian White, also take part. Out of these 3, only one has business being there, and that's Diego Luna, which I'm okay with. I don't think Brian White and Patrick Aguiman actually help much this team. But anyhow, here's the roster. Let me put it on screen once again for y'all, the roster. But I do want to put one thing. I want to go through one thing that was announced yesterday. It was an announcement yesterday from the U.S. This is an important one. I didn't do a video covering it, so I'd like to cover this now. So they announced 2 friendlies for the U.S. men's national team yesterday, and I thought these were really good games. So the United States will play Turkey and Switzerland in June. So June 7th, we play Turkey in Hartford, Connecticut. And then June 10th, we go to Nashville to play Switzerland. These are good opponents. Let me get a sip of coffee here. Thank you for your patience. So we're going to play them in June. So what's going to happen in June is the following. They're going to call up the U.S. men's national team roster late May, early June. After that, we play 2 friendlies with Turkey and Switzerland. After those 2 friendlies, June 14th, the Gold Cup starts. I'm assuming we're going to bring the A roster. We're probably going to bring the A roster. And this will ultimately be where Pochettino prepares our team for the World Cup, because he's going to have a full month, over a month, with these players. This Gold Cup is far more important than any previous ones we've had. We're going to have the A team, and this is the last competitive tournament we're going to have before the 2026 World Cup. The last. And before the Gold Cup, where we play a bunch of terrible teams from CONCACAF and apparently Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia will be in the Gold Cup. We're going to play Turkey and we're going to play Switzerland. Okay, so let me put it this way. The next 4 months for the U.S. men's national team will be crucial for the preparation of the World Cup. These are the last 2 competitive tournaments we have. We don't have World Cup qualifying. So we have the Nations League now. We're going to play Panama and then Mexico, Canada. Good opponents. Not something that we should be concerned about. We should beat them, especially if we go to the World Cup, especially in the World Cup, right? Mexico doesn't really do much in the World Cup. And Canada never got a single point in the World Cup. That's embarrassing. That's the Canadians, right? They look at the Canadians. They've played 2 World Cups, the Canadians. They've never gotten a single point. But at least the Canadians were proud that they scored a goal in the last World Cup, right? The rude Canadians. They never got a single point in the World Cup. They never got one. It's incredible, right? They try to claim that they're the kings of CONCACAF or something without ever having accomplished jack crap. They have been crap. And so, again, good luck. Good luck to Canada in the Nations League. They're going to try to win a trophy. Personally, I hope Mexico defeats Canada, because it would be kind of funny to defeat Canada, especially with Jesse Marsh in charge. We'll see how it goes. But again, Canada talks too much crap for a team that was the second worst team in the 2022 World Cup. They were only better than Qatar. And Qatar doesn't even count, right? Qatar, they suck. They're terrible. So, okay, Canada, we'll see. We'll see how it goes with this nation. And again, if Canada wants to talk trash, right? If they want to talk trash, win a bloody trophy. Win the trophy. And see, I'm trying not to curse. I can pick words instead of effing and all that. When I want to say the F word, so I don't curse here, I don't want to lose more sponsors, I will just use the word bloody. It'll be easier. But here's the thing. If Canada wants to claim they're the best of CONCACAF, win a freaking trophy. They lost the Nations League last year. They lost the Gold Cup last year. Now they have the Nations League, and now they have the Gold Cup. Win a trophy, and then we can start talking. Until then, the United States and Mexico are still the top dogs of CONCACAF. And look, I still think it's going to go this way. I still think Mexico or the U.S. will win it. They said Canada won a trophy in the 2000 Gold Cup. That's like 200 years ago. That's 200 years ago. Most people like don't even remember that. Some people weren't even born by then. No, I'm sorry. You have to have won a trophy ever since Kevin Sullivan was born. Otherwise, there's no point on mentioning it with Canada, right? There's no point on mentioning it with Canada. If you haven't won a single trophy since Kevin Sullivan was born, I don't want to hear it. I simply don't want to hear it. But now, since a few of you just arrived, let me go through the roster very quickly. Obviously, you can go back on the stream and you can go through it. And if you guys just arrived, make sure to drop a like in this stream. We're not going to do any more videos this week. We're just going to do on Monday, we're going to do a US Panama preview. And then we're going to do a Nations League prediction video. We're going to do a Panama next week. There's a buttload of video, more videos that you can handle. There's going to be so many videos. You're going to tell me to stop uploading. You're not going to be able to handle the amount of videos we're making next week. There are just so many videos. You can't even count the amount. So we won't have that many today. This week. But get ready because next week there's going to be too many videos. You guys are not going to be able to even video streams the whole week. Especially because I'm not working next week. I'm just going to be working on YouTube. But the roster real quick, Patrick Schulte, Zach Steffen, and Matt Turner, the goalkeepers. Defenders, Cameron Carter-Vickers, center back. Marlon Fossey, a right back. Mark McKenzie from Toulouse, a center back. Tim Ream from Charlotte FC. Chris Richards from Crystal Palace. Center back, obviously. Anthony Robinson, the left back from Fulham. Joseph Scally from Borussia, not Dortmund, one of the fullbacks too. And Austin Trusty. Midfielders, Tyler Adams, central defensive midfielder. Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis, central defensive midfielder. Diego Luna from Real Salt Lake, attacking mid. Weston McKennie from Juventus, central mid, attacking mid. Pick your poison. He can play everywhere. McKennie can play everywhere. He might even be our best goalkeeper right now. Gio Reyna from Borussia Dortmund, Tanner Tessman from Lyon. And then up top, we have Patrick Aguiman, center forward. Yunus Musa from Milan, winger. Christian Pulisic from Milan, winger. Josh Sargent from Norwich, center forward. Tim Weah from Juventus, winger, and Brian White from the Vancouver Whitecaps, the water boy. That's the roster that Pochettino's bringing on. It's missing Busio. Busio's not there. Zendejas didn't make it. Aiden Morris didn't make it. Brandon Aronson didn't make it. Paxton Aronson didn't make it. Malik Tillman is injured. Pepe's injured. Balogun's injured. Dest just came back from injury. They didn't make the roster as well. Now, before we go, let me show you guys one thing. I put the link in the description. If you guys want to, this is our new channel covering Brazilian soccer or football, right? So I have to call it football there sometimes because I do let it slip. Sometimes I let it slip and I say soccer there very often. And they get pissed at me. They don't like it when I say soccer. Not just the Brazilians, the Europeans, everyone that watches. If you guys want to, the last video we released is about the American that changed Brazilian football or Brazilian soccer in this case. Go check it out. It's a good video. It's a very good video. It might interest the USMNT audience we have here. The link to Chappelle Football is in the description of this video. The channel's been doing well. 5 videos. We have almost 3,000 subscribers there. Go check it out. But yeah, the latest video, the American that changed Brazilian football, might be what interests you the most. The link is in the description. Make sure you drop a like in this video as well. Now, let me go through the super chats before we go. Jeff Carey say, do you think we will invade Panama and Canada? No, we're not going to invade Panama or Canada. We're not going to be doing that. Okay, so don't worry. I mean, I don't have any control over it. So if it happens, don't hold me accountable. I'll put it this way. Let me put it this way then, because I don't control what this country does. I am not in favor of invading Panama or Canada. Okay, we'll put it this way. I'm in favor of beating the living shit out of them in soccer, though. That I'm in favor of. Cubo Maker saying, join the Discord channel run by fans for the fans. Link below the chat because it doesn't allow links. Okay, where's the link, Cubo Maker? Hold on, I might be able to. So listen, this Discord, I gotta put it in the description of the videos. I'll put the Discord there. I gotta put in the description. That was my mistake. They forgot to add you, Felipe. What did they forget to add me to the roster? Yeah, I didn't make the roster once again. Oh, here's an interesting one. They're saying, surprised he didn't call his boy Miljevic. I was a bit surprised as well. And honestly, between Brian White and Miljevic, I kind of would have preferred if he went with Miljevic because at least we could claim it's like, yeah, it's just his buddy. It's just his friend, right? But again, he went with Brian White. Wait, did I curse? Did I swear? What did I say? What did I say? The new era, USMNT will put 3-0 against Malagon in Mexico. Hopefully, if we play Mexico in the final. So again, no more videos this week unless there's some huge breaking news. Next Monday, we'll do the prediction video for the CONCACAF Nations League finals. On Tuesday, we'll do the USMNT Panama preview. On Wednesday, we'll probably release a video on Chapéu Football, the channel there, probably a Brazil video. And then on Thursday, the USMNT stream. Friday, the 7 things you learned. Saturday, the final preview. And then on Sunday, we drink tequila, whiskey, whatever you want, whatever your favorite drink is, and we celebrate the U.S. men's national team winning their 4th consecutive Nations League, dominating the region, dominating CONCACAF, beating Mexico or beating Canada. I don't care. I don't judge. Either one. It doesn't matter. But everyone, don't forget to drop a like right now before you go. Thank you very much for watching. Go check out Chapéu Football if you have time. And that's all. I got work to do. I'm recruiting players for the TST. I might have a really big name very soon. And I need to get a haircut. It's like growing. I'm starting to look like the Wolverine. I need to get a haircut so people don't stop calling me taller and better looking Tom Cruise. All right. Ciao.